What's going on, everybody? Cody from Motorcycle MD, where we like to waste our time taking apart clapped out XL185 motors to see if we can make them usable again. Obviously not all the time, but in this video we'll be tearing down the motor that was once seized. If you haven't seen that video, the last one that came out, check it out. We have a 1979 XL185 that I would like to keep for myself to go trail riding with, pack up and head to the mountains, whatever. And it was a donor bike that was given to me that I deem worthy for whatever reason to dump money into to make it rideable. And this motor was seized. No, you want to be set free. Uh-oh. So when it comes to bigger jobs like this, where we're taking down a motor completely to the crankshaft, we need to know what we need, especially when it comes to older bikes like these where parts are not readily available. So in this video, we'll be taking the motor out of the frame and tearing it down to a stopping point so we can assess what we have going on. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. We do videos on motorcycle repair, maintenance, modifications, builds, all different types of stuff. If you like this type of content or support it, subscribe to the channel. I think you'll find tons of helpful information on this channel as I try to bring a professional aspect to a lot of the things that the riding community deals with on a seasonal basis. And if you do enjoy working on your own bike and the satisfaction that comes with that, in the description is a free course. It's called the Wrench to Ride course, 40 plus videos on how to take care of your bike. That being said, let's crack this motor open and just see how disgusting it is inside. I think you're gonna like it. This will be fun. Where's my WD? Let's just go ahead and hit all these up. Oh, hey, buddy. So, start bagging and tagging. Getting Ziploc bags. Everything gets a name and a location inside of a Ziploc bag. Oh, I know. So many different animals have used this as a home. So this has a decompression valve right here to help kick it through. This is a single header pipe into the canister there, which is a bit ridiculous, but EPA regulations on off-road vehicles in the forest, they need to be heavily regulated. It's probably why they have that bad boy right there, which is probably like some type of catalytic converter or something, but it is massive. I wonder how much better it would run with like a nice free-flowing exhaust. Get this exhaust clamp loose. We'll pop this off. We'll see if we can't just beat on this header pipe, see if we can't get it to come loose. No fins broken. Header still intact. Look at all that. Oh, there's. Look at that. Oh, it's gross. Probably go ahead and grab the flange off the head. I want to see if I can just. It's easier to have this stuff kind of loose now than when it's by itself. Team, no bolts broken. Alright, here's the top hanger. That's good. I can get the back hanger bolt to move. There's that one. Top hanger is out. Bottom hanger is out. dirt is out. Okay, there's that one. Oh yeah. Let's get a heavier hammer. Alright, basket should stop most of the fall. We'll see. The question is, can I get this bolt out by hand? And I don't think so. Here we go. I just smashed my finger. Alright. Bingo. The motor is out. Nothing to it. Alright, time to find out just how bad this thing is. We did loosen up some of that stuff already. Let's get this timing cover off. Oh, nice and clean. This operates like a point system would. It's electronic. Here's our advancer, which should be able to kind of free advance, but it doesn't because it's gummy. See how it kind of wants to spring back? Kind of moves backwards, but not like it should. But it's clean. The plate's clean. This is probably fine. Let's just zip this loose and grab these two Phillips head screws here. There is a line on this. You can see that. That is actually an indication line when you go to set the timing of this thing up. It's pretty easy. But what we'll do is we have a notch back here. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll just put a gold mark right there. Just for reference. I'm curious to see if the cam is worn out on this, or if it's rusted or corroded or anything. That might cause a problem. You can see here, if you're used to the old point systems, it looks identical to them. There's our advancer right there. Just like on a regular point plate would have, just a little bit different system. A little bit more sophisticated. These standard threads right here should be a washer. There's our bolt, there's our washer. And this should come off, there we go. So we have our little dowel right there. It's actually a little pin right there on the shaft back there. That's how it's right, but it should sit right back into there like that and not move. I believe that pin can come out, so we gotta be mindful of that. This is really clean. It's not rusted. It just needs to be lubed up better. Pull this whole thing apart, and we'll do that later. Now we're gonna go after this plate right here, right behind it, because we can't take this top head off without removing this little extension bracket right here on the end. I have a feeling I may regret going top down. Usually I kind of start with the sides, pull the clutch basket off, because while this stuff is all installed, it's easier to break bolts loose, but we'll deal with that like we would any other motor. So let's see how nice this thing wants to play. Nice. There we go. Got our O-ring on that. Got a oil seal right there as well. Don't want to lose this dowel. And grab me a zip tie. I don't want to put it in a bag. It's going to get stuck to something. I'm going to pull it out and then boom, it's gone. So we're just going to do that. Let's go ahead and grab these. Just loosen them up for now. I believe this is a wheel or a tensioner right behind this bolt here that would loosen the tension. This is part of the guide that goes down and probably gets into a part of the case in there. The top of the guide's held up right there, so that's what's putting tension on this, as well as another tensioner system that we'll look at. Let's go ahead and get this top off, shall we? Probably should have power washed this thing before. I did just get some like heavy duty nylon brushes, real stiff. Some of these bolt holes are filled with dirt, and to avoid stripping them out, we're just gonna give them a little scrape and a little brush. Try to keep stuff from going into the motor. We'll go ahead and start with these 6mm bolts first. These are holding more pressure down, and if you take these off first, there's a chance that you could, stretch these out or whatever. It's always the smaller bolts first, though. And all 4 are the same size. You got acorn nuts with washers. They probably have some type of crush effect to them. Likely in the book it'll probably say replace them. We have our decomp valve over here. I don't think we need to take any of this bolt stuff off for that. I'm going to try to leave that intact. Oh, it popped. That's because the cylinder is not in top dead center compression. I can't turn it to that degree. We got it to move like you saw, but there's pressure on the intake valves, or the camshaft per se, and because the camshaft uses the valve cover as a bearing surface, which I'll explain, you'll see it when we open it up, there's pressure on the valve cover. If I were to turn this into top dead center when there's no pressure on the cam, it wouldn't have popped like that, but that's helpful. So let's finish it off. Look at this stupid hammer. I don't know, I found this thing at a yard sale. I think it's like rolled plastic or something. Someone probably knows what this is, but let's see. It does appear to be moving. Let's see how long this bolt is here. Some type of holder for it. I'm going to say that does not go down into the case. But you should be moving by now. So let's see. The most durable part of this fin is going to be right in this section here. So instead of prying here, you want to kind of pry there on top of that and not try to break that. Let's see. Does not want to budge yet. Let's see, I'm going to pop this window open here. Definitely don't see anything. So the rocker arms go parallel inside of the top of the valve cover, which means that here we have our rocker arm and the detent is on top of it. So this should actually all come out. This should all come out together. The rocker arm should come out with the detent. There we go. Alright, moment of truth. Is the cam okay? The journals are okay. The rocker arms are okay. Decompression valve, because it's on the exhaust side, so it usually always will be on the exhaust side. When that cable gets pulled, it pushes down on that valve, lets a little bit of the compression out, makes it easier to start on hot starts. That looks great. I'm happy with that. And the camshaft looks gorgeous. That's what we like to see right there. Okay, let's work on getting this head off now. So we want to take this cam off. We have our guide right there. Actually, will it let us? It will. Here's a little shim. Looks like there's 2 shims. Nope, just one. So that shim right there is to help. Oh, got some rust right here. We might be able to smooth that out with some emery cloth. That's not too crazy. Here's a bearing right here. That looks good. There's a detent right there, or a little, it's like a locating pin that goes in the top of this head here. So you can locate that cam on there, or that bearing. That bearing surface right there has a mark in it though, which is a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, it's got a mark right there in the center. I can feel it with my fingernail. Oh, calling the cops in. Oh. Call them in, bro. Let them know where you're at. Yeah, so we have a lot going on here. So we have a little bit of some surface rust on the top of that cam right there, which is probably the exhaust cam. This might be the intake. We have our shim here. The shim helps keep this thing from going back and forth, our end play of the cam. So shims are obviously important. We do have some wear on this bearing journal, which matters because even though this surface is great, it's sliding around on that straight aluminum right there. Another thing that people oftentimes miss is a lot of oil gets sent up through here. We have an oil passage right here, which oil gets fed up into here, and then it comes out of these holes when it needs. Okay? Oftentimes, contaminants and dirt and grime will get filled up in here, especially if they have a motor that's went bad, like the bottom end went bad. You'll see debris and crap inside of there. That needs to be cleaned out really well. Go ahead and grab this sprocket. Throw that in the camshaft bag. Here's our guide. Might better get that out now. Maybe, maybe not. So it might be bolted down there as well, which we'll get that later. Let's put this bolt back in there, but now the guide is removed. Nothing to it. Oh yeah. The crust is a must. Nasty. But serviceable. Doesn't look like anything let loose in there. And there's our rusty cylinder. It appears to be full with, it's likely full with a lot of penetrating oil. But look at the buildup on that. That's insane. Look at that, the cylinder's done. The amount of corrosion that is on the surface of the cylinder, completely destroyed. Whoo, buddy. We can't soak some of that stuff up. That would explain why the motor was stuck. Probably has to end up finding a new, a good used cylinder. I think getting this thing bored and that kind of stuff is just going to be stupid. Oh my gosh. Where's the piston? Oh my gosh. Guys. That is insane. I've never seen that. Alright, well, start scooping this stuff out. I would be very surprised if the crankshaft is not bad. Like if this made a barrier to the crankshaft, there's no clean way of doing this. I would just be very surprised. This is gross. Ugh. I'd hate to scratch this cylinder, you know? No wonder why the penetrating oil wasn't making it past the rings to free the piston up, because there's a bunch of crap on top. Insane. I've never seen this before. I've also never torn apart too many locked motors, to be honest with you. Junk. I wouldn't even waste my money on this cylinder. Maybe. I'm just hoping we can get the cylinder up, you know what I mean? Hopefully it's not like too far past the rings and it's like this. So the cylinder hangs down a little bit into the crankcase. There's the piston. Ride a little bit. It's moving. I cannot believe it, but it's moving. Very carefully, we're going to work this thing up. Honestly, none of this would probably have been possible if we didn't first break the motor free of its misery. Because trying to deal with something like that is why people have so much trouble. I'm just going to throw this away because this looks like crap and it's grossing me out. I see rust on the outer skirt here. We have to try to get this thing off of the piston though, by whatever means possible. I don't care too much about the cylinder. I don't mind damaging it too much. If need be. There, grab a crowbar. Just can't hold the motor. Oh, this is lovely. How about push this piston down like that, and let's try to push the piston back in. I also don't want the skirt to dig into my case halves. I don't think it's budging. Also, don't want to whack on it too much, but we're in the, if it were to run and go down, the crank would be spinning with it. It did move a little bit. We have some movement. I can see more of the skirt. Haha, you little bastard. See, we're on the downswing of the crank, so. That felt good. Oh, we're there. Piston has moved quite a bit. Look at that pretty thing. Look at that pretty thing. Absolutely glorious. Well, that actually moves. That's good. A circ clip to get off of here. Let's go ahead and get that out. Watch your eyeballs. There it goes. Gone forever. That's why I said watch your eyeballs. Now, getting this out might prove to be a little bit more difficult. I don't want to put too much force like this on that rod down there. Not too rusted on here, which is surprising. What I want to see is what the surface area of that top connecting rod looks like. That's going to be a pretty big deciding factor. What we are looking for is just the wear inside of the small end. Kind of looking to see if we can see or feel anything. As well as the topmost part of it, up on this top edge. If I had a brand new pin boss, we could put it in there and feel, see if there's any like big play inside the brand new pin boss inside. What I'm also going to look for is our crank shaft. And we're definitely splitting this motor. We have rust all over this thing. It's pretty bad, right? Which means it's in the oil pump, which means a lot of things. I can't tell if that's like muck or rust. I no longer care what's in the bottom of this motor. Yeah. Oh boy. Part of the reason why I won't spin all the way through is because the bearings do not feel good at all. Really loud. This play does not feel too bad. Kind of looking for, in the topmost position, top dead center, is their play on this rod up and down. There really isn't too much. There's none at all that I can feel, but that's just because the space is being taken up by rust. We're looking for side to side movement. Is it flopping all around? I don't feel any movement whatsoever, but this case has to come apart, which means I have to put some new bearings. See how much this crank will clean up. All the above. So that looks like a great place to stop. We need some stuff. We will do a little bit further evaluation of that head and the scoring that we saw in there, but we're going to need a new cylinder, we're going to need a new piston, going to need a new pin boss and circlips. But I want to take some of the stuff apart that was in the head and really clean that up in a parts cleaner and see where we're at as far as what the wearable stuff looks like. We'll go through that stuff later, but even with what we saw, I'm confident that we'll be able to get this thing going. We do also still have the entire bottom end to tear down. We'll see that next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Subscribe if you want to get the notification as for when the new videos come out. Until next time, Cody from Motorcycle MD, bringing you guys some quality tips and tricks for your next build or your daily rider. See you next time. Later.